Advertisements soon.
Hello everyone. Welcome in. Hi, I'm Chef Jay Tay. Happy to see you back. How we doing? What's new? What's happening? Happy Monday to you. Happy start of the week. What's new? Hi there, Will Poker. Welcome in, Nan Reader. How's it going, Muskeg? Howdy, howdy. Coffee. Bacon in the lead. Where's all my chocolate lovers? What happened to them? Where'd you go? For the record, I've realized the reason why I'm unable to get the other channel points to activate properly. And that would be because I have not reset up the channel points. Have this weird sort of a thing where when it comes to ownership, you can have like you can have like the bot have ownership and you can have the streamer have ownership. Why are you switching on me, camera? And I haven't recreated the channel points with Sprinkle Bot versus versus Streamer Bot. Sure, that was clear as mud. But I will eventually get around to getting channel points to all back so you can do hydrate and all those fun things. Eventually. I promise. Sort of. Watch. Now Twitch will get rid of channel points or something. Hi, JK. Hey, Melvin. I'm unsure who's happier to see all of you here, me or the Butternut Squash. Yeah. I've mentioned before, it searches for the definitions it's using are off of Wikipedia and several other sources, and not necessarily the food definition from, and in many cases it isn't. But regardless, thank you all for joining me tonight. Cheers. That is hot. That is hot. Oh. That should, narrator. Alright, where do we get started? I think we get started with our squash. So I did some research after looking into the hummingbirds having some sort of like avian flu, and suggestions as to the whole feeders and all of that, and sort of came to the conclusion that I need to stop using feeders for a couple of weeks here. And so earlier today I took down all of my feeders, gave them all good bleach water soak, and put them in a place where they're not really visible to the birds, but they're open air. Visit, and that way it's not spreading through my feeders. Most annoying part about butternut squash is peeling them and getting that sap all over your hands. I've talked about that before. Don't do that. Please do not do that. Those who have handled a fair amount of squash, especially butternut squash, or have cut up a whole bunch of these and gotten that all over their hands, initially it'll do a little light staining in your hands, the color of the butternut squash, which isn't that bad, but it doesn't disappear, or the issue, the feeling or issue from it, until your skin basically peels off a layer or two. just naturally. You know, that... Yeah. Wear gloves if you're going to do a whole bunch of butternut. But it does wonders for exfoliation. Not as vivid, not as... But yeah, in the same color ballpark, but like I said, it's... Turmeric is some potent stuff. As far as color. I mean, it's stuck to the board there. Did you notice that? The whole board stuck. You can see the pattern from it on the board. From that stuff. I have no idea what it is. I've never done a proper, like, search about it. I've just experienced it and been like, yeah, it's something I should probably not touch a lot. After losing my skin to my hand once or twice. Alright, so now that we got it all skinned, switching to this one because it has scallops on it, so that hopefully won't stick as much. Oh, I gotta scoop out the seeds on 2 halves of this. Arg. Just doing the spoon scraping over the trash to make it a little bit easier. I'm not saving the seeds for this to roast them or anything. Which one has the cantaloupe or the butternut squash in it? Hey, Knowledge. Welcome, Alex. Oil, salt, pepper, hey, Soph. Welcome, welcome. Onion powder. Excuse me. Nice. Well, nicely. You're going to set this over on the stove for the moment while the oven heats up for a little bit. Nah, let's just throw it in there. It's not like I need to shock it with high heat. We're just looking to cook it. We'll give that a solid 35 minutes. Get a nice solid roast on that. Make sure all that squash is cooked through. We're going to be blending it, so I'm not 100% concerned with it being potentially overcooked, as long as we're not like burning it or drying it out like level overcooked. It can be soft overcooked because it's getting blended. And I'm also looking to get a little color there, but again, I don't want it burnt. Pickle soup? Ooh, we're going to ads. I got an alert. It's working. See y'all when you get back. That was quite the pre-alert. We're a minute late. Hey, Abby. I had to double take when I read pickle soup and checked that it was Soph that made pickle soup. Well, if y'all had voted for pickles in the ingredient challenge, maybe you could have seen pickle soup. Speaking of that, let's see, is that still the current case? Are we closing this up? We're closing this during stream. Yeah, I think we're there, chat. Hey, Sniper. New vote soon. What else do I want to do here? What type of pea soup? Plain and simple. Well, someone says that, and I start thinking, I've made it several times on stream and enjoy it every once in a while, is a good split pea soup. In either case, but especially with fresh peas, you want them to be in-season fresh peas. World of difference between in-season peas and fresh first pick. Oh. Could care less about the rest of them. warming up the pan and start sauteing our onion and pepper. Have you not had split pea soup before? Split peas are almost like green lentils. They can have a little bit of an almost like grit texture to them. They're very much different from fresh peas. It's one of those recipes that's also pretty good at restaurants that like do that. I know it's probably next to none these days have that on their menu unless you have like an old school deli or something in your town. But yeah, it's a soup best made in large batches. Like I've made it at home here in smaller batches, but big. Fan feels good. What all do I want to put it with this? I think just a little paprika. Just to add a little depth to that pepper flavor. I might add a little water in here to do a little extra steam action. That was maybe slightly too much water. Hi, Tiff. Nice. Yeah, it'll be a couple of weeks till we get there. But let's see, when is that hitting? When is... That is going to be the 26th of April. Connecticut. So we're going to blend this up into sauce slash paste. To go along with our egg yolk. Thinking of options. I have a feeling this is not going to blend up as nice and smoothly as I hope it will. But I hope it will. So let's go on that premise and see what we get. Mute for blend. I broke my smaller blender. I got rid of that a couple of weeks ago on stream. I have a stick. I have an immersion stick blender, and that still works fine. But it had an attachment that fed into a little mini handheld almost. Food processor / blender. And that was splitting in the bottom. I was like, that has a spinning blade in it, and the plastic cup it's in is splitting in half. I don't think that's safe. And so it went to the trash. A little concerned that this isn't blending up as nicely as I want to, but we're going to keep at it for a little bit. Alright, that's a little closer to what I was looking for. It's still not blended enough, but I think I'm actually going to, from here, do a bit more cooking. Do a little reduce down and cook it into a little bit thicker of a paste. And use the same pan. I ain't scared of the same pan. That looks mighty bright in that pan, though. giving this a good rinse up because I'm going to have to use this again for the butternut. Hi. Smelling like squash in there. Oh, it's already quite warm in here. Doesn't take much when you start with a almost 70-degree day. It was a nice temperature, like 68-ish when I was out there earlier. Felt glorious. But it doesn't take much to heat that up another 10-20 degrees when you got a 400-degree oven behind you and a range. And you start the stream off with a pot of boiling water. Well, at least it's interesting knowledge. Thursday's going to be... So you're going from 70 to 35 to 80. It's usually more the barometric that gets me annoyed at the world. When you go from rain to not and back and forth and all that jazz. But temps, that's no fun either. Wanting to cook most of the liquid out of this. Not really going to cook the oil or all of the vinegar out of that, but We can get pretty close. Hey, Jana. A rush of water along a river or onto the land. A flood is the definition of fresh. Okay. Let me check something here. See if why this is switching back and forth. If I'm going to lose audio for a quick second while I'm on this other scene. Okay. That's the other camera what that's looking at to tell if there's a face over there, and the little black box is hiding the OBS screen that I have up here where my face is at, whether I'm looking that way or not. So sometimes the camera gets bumped out and you gotta move the box back over to the center of the OBS. Oh hey, that's a timer. And that pepper's looking pretty good there. I think I'm going to stop with that. Leave that in the pan to continue drying, but the flame is off over here. I think I want to go a little longer with this. This looks like it's nicely cooked, like this would blend up nicely, but I want to get a little color on it. I don't see any color here yet. Like, we're just starting to get there with some of this. Like, that maybe had a little color there, that one little piece. Yeah, we'll give this a little bit longer. Spray oil over the top just to encourage them to get real roasty. trying out a different type of flour for my pasta. Already not necessarily in love with it. I don't want to use that for this. Roast peppers taste good, but they're such a pain to make. Like, the skin never comes off nicely. I don't care who you is, what method or system or patented method you have, the skins still stick. And they get everywhere. Oh, just wrap them in plastic wrap tightly and let them steam and then cut them off and peels right off. What? No. Bullshit. You always end up there with the back of your knife on a cutting board, scraping off flecks of black stuff, and then, like, mashing it into your cutting board and your cutting board being black for the next week. Y'all didn't know that I had that strong of an opinion about this, did you? Okay, that seriously wasn't enough egg for this project. I should have known that because my ratio that I normally use would have used another egg too, but... Here I am trusting ratios on the internet again, just because I want to make a smaller batch than normal. There we go. That's a little closer. We'll hit that with a touch of fancy olive oil. Kneading time. All right, now we're gonna let that set for a little bit. Let's take a look at how our onion and pepper mash is looking here. I sort of just want to put that on some bread and with maybe some hummus. What do y'all think? Some crusty bread, some hummus, call it a night? I mean, I still got that loaf of bread from Chicago beef night. All right, let's give this squash another look. That sounded a little bit more. Still no color. Still no sear. Back in for more. Ooh, more. So I upped the temperature to 450. We're going to give that another 10 minutes. Because I want color. But I also think I'm going to take a little bit of a breather while that does that. And maybe open some windows, air out the house, and cool things down a little bit as the sun starts to go down and it's hopefully a little bit cooler outside. Let's see, how we doing time-wise? Now I wish I could kill another 5 to 10 minutes. But the pre-roll is on anyways, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so I'm going to give it about 10 minutes here since the pre-roll's on anyways. And I will see all of you lovely folks back here in about 8 minutes.
Something new has been added. The General Electric portable mixer now has a drink mixer for delicious shakes and juice drinks in quicker than a shake. An extra attachment at no extra cost. This GE portable mixer weighs less than 3 pounds, yet it's powerful enough to blend the heaviest batter. Also mixes sauces at the range. It has low speed for cookie dough, medium speed for beating frostings, and high speed for whipping egg whites. And look, this handy push button releases the beaters at a touch. And no dangling cord. You can remove the cord so it stores neatly on the wall. Comes in 4 decorator colors. See it at your GE dealers. Does any mixing job anywhere.
Folks, why do you eat Wheaties?
We like it.
But did you know it's always been whole wheat with all the bran, and bran is one of nature's best sources of food fiber.
That's news to us.
Wheaties breakfast this morning?
Sure, it helps me feel fit.
But do you know Wheaties has bran fiber your body may need?
That's news to me.
Why Wheaties?
Oh, we love the taste.
Have for years. But do you know for years you've been getting something extra for your diet? Bran fiber?
Well, that's news to me.
Wheaties. It's brand news.
You are now looking at a slice of bread being spread with creamy-style Skippy peanut butter, as only Mary Ellen can spread it there. All right, now, as you look at that, don't want you to leave me, because I want to show you something, believe it or not, that a lot of people like even better. Suppose we were to take some fresh roasted peanuts here, and like Mary Ellen has been doing all evening, and putting them in a nut chopper here. Give a couple more little chugs, will you, please? Mm-hmm. You think that'll do it? That's fine. Now you find in there some just tiny little golden nuggets of roasted peanuts, and they are colossal. Now, I want to try something here. Suppose we were to take these, now let me try an experiment, do you mind, honey? And we'd sprinkle them over the creamy-style Skippy. Say, how is that, huh?
Ooh, that looks good.
It does look good. All I did that for was to tell you that you can get that and enjoy it anytime you want. You won't have to go through any chopping process either, because the Skippy people do that for you in chunk style. That's done for you up in the factory. Now, chunk style, you see, has sprinkled all through it very generously through the entire jar those golden little nuggets that you saw there, just about like that. So that's already done for you there. Now, of course, either style, whether it's cream or chunky, if you get Skippy, you are getting the peanut butter that stays fresh right down to the last spoonful in the jar. And so I make it very simple again. I want you to know that this is an honest fact.
If you like peanuts, you'll like Skippy.
Yes, sir. If you want real entertainment, the best place to find it is in front of a General Electric Black Daylight Big-as-Life television set. Sports, comedy, drama, news, music. Yes, they're all yours, merely at the turn of a dial. This model has a big 16-inch black rectangular tube that lets you see everything that the camera sees, true to life and as big as life. Sparkling contrast and sharp focus give you pictures of such clarity that you feel you're right there on the scene. The cabinet, designed and constructed by America's leading cabinet makers, fits gracefully into any type of room. Genuine mahogany veneers, hand-rubbed for lasting beauty and durability, are just one example of the painstaking attention to every detail, which makes this cabinet one that you'll be proud to have in your home. The precision engineering and careful assembly techniques used in making this General Electric Black Daylight television set are your assurance of television at its finest. See it in operation at your General Electric dealers tomorrow. And when you see it, well, you'll know that you're seeing the best.
Something different for a change? Then try the perfect refreshment, Chili Dilly. A delicious pickle treat that's spiced just right for every bite. Economical, too. There's no waste. You eat every bit of the juicy goodness of Chili Dilly. How about trying one right now? Chili Dilly. On sale at our concession stand. You'll love 'em.
What? Keeping the coffee in the icebox?
Yes, Mr. Jones, it's a new kind of coffee, roasted by a new secret process. Hence, this new none-such coffee has a different flavor, a flavor preserved by vacuum packing, the flavor retained by refrigeration after the jar has been opened. Just taste it. You can't miss that delicate aroma, that clean, mellow taste. Yes, in cooking, the way to a man's heart is most of all through the coffee pot. In every jar, you'll find 3 special pointers, valuable in all methods of making coffee. Try new none-such coffee now. Use half the jar. If not 100% satisfied, get all your money back from your grocer without argument. Special for Movie Week, only 28 cents a pound, plus 3 cents refundable deposit on the jar.
Well, no wonder my laundry bill is so high. All those napkins last week.
Doeskin.
What?
You should use Doeskin dinner napkins.
Paper napkins? Oh, no.
I don't mean thin little paper napkins, but Doeskin dinner napkins. You'll love them.
Everybody loves Doeskin dinner napkins. These soft linen-like napkins are 2-ply in smart formal fold, in white and in beautiful pastel colors. And Doeskin dinner napkins are big. They cover your whole lap, and they stay put. What's more, they last throughout the meal, and they leave no lint.
But they are nice. And they would save my linen.
They save you money, too. Doeskin dinner napkins cost only 49 cents for 5 dozen. That's a fraction of a penny apiece.
All right, Dottie.
You'll find Doeskin dinner napkins, Doeskin facial tissues, and other Doeskin products at your favorite grocery, supermarket, department store, or drugstore. Look for the brown dispenser box.
Doeskin.
Here's an amazing free offer for everyone who's overweight. Even if you've tried other methods and failed, you can still lose ugly fat fast. Yes, thousands can tell you that calometric control is the only safe, sure, effective way to reduce. Now, this package contains the Wonder 10-Day Diet that gives you 3 delicious meals a day, plus a bedtime snack, even includes a jog for your willpower. Yet you take only 3 calometric tablets a day. And here's the sensational free offer. A 30-day supply of wonderful calometric tablets. A certified $3.50 value when you buy the regular calometric way to weight control. You save $3.50. Now that's a $7 value for only $3.50. A 50% saving. And how can you get your free bottle of calometric tablets? Well, just send in this calometric box top with your name and address. Your druggist will give you a postage-paid envelope already addressed to the calometric company. Now don't lose hope, lose weight. Get calometric reducing formula at your drugstore. Send the box top in the free postage-paid envelope. Get your $3.50 bottle of calometric tablets free. Don't wait. Act now.
Say, do you... Welcome back. How ya doing? Let's get some music going again. Alright, let's see what we got going on over here on the stove. Perfect timing. There we go, color. A little roasty toasty on our squash. Yeah, there we go. Bet you didn't know I was ambidextrous, did you? I'm not. I'm doing my best, though. Half cup of water. Cup of whole milk. Oh, we're going to ads eventually in like a minute. What do I think of motorcycles? Not really practical. What are you seeing over here, camera? Why are you switching? What's going on there? Yeah. Weird. It must be seeing a face in some form. About the only, unless you're off-roading or you don't care much about your life and you live in a busy city, I don't see the practicality. They are, some electric ones might be, but they're not more environmentally friendly despite them being smaller than autos. They have less regulations on their emissions and stuff than automakers do. Alright, let's give this a blend up. I'm gonna mute and blend this. There we go, that's nice and thick. Actually might have to thin that out, but right now, that's good for now. Yeah, I don't see the appeal of air whipping by my legs so much that I need to be on a motorcycle versus a convertible. And there could be something in the past said for them being faster and more mobile than cars. It's not the case anymore. Basically all the cars on the road for the most part are the same legal standards of, you know, they're not going to go 300 miles an hour on the normal road without it being a track car. I mean, anyone out there that has seen police chase videos realizes that the, you know, mass-produced, you know, escapes that they're riding around in, you know, the suburbs can keep up with your Dodge Challenger. It's actually sort of hilarious from my perspective. I sort of like watching police chases because, one, I find it hilarious that criminals think they're going to outrun a radio, and two, it's hilarious watching an escape keep up with a Challenger. All right, let's get this out of this pan. And do we go to doing pasta again? Is that where we're at? You can definitely turn this oven off from producing heat. On the other hand, they can be also terribly frustrating when you watch them do a chase for 30 minutes and then decide, this is getting too dangerous, just let them go. Okay, we're going to roll up pasta next. That dough is feeling perfect tonight. Now watch it be horrible at rolling. Alright, we're going to give this a fold. Couple of folds. But it's rolling up nicely tonight. That's part me willing this to continue going nicely and partly truth. Hopefully your what was it, your boss? Who was it? Product manager. Hopefully your product manager's okay. Hopefully it's just a messed up bike. That's the much cheaper option, especially in the US. Exclamation mark wiggle. Perhaps understandable. Though that probably was not cheap changing the ticket. One last fold here. Your spouse has a motorcycle and hasn't ridden it since you're young? Well, at least there's that. Must be nice to live in a country where they value human life over corporate profits. This is getting a little too wet and sticking to itself here, so I'm gonna hit it with a bit of flour. Okay, I'm folding this once more because it's just sort of warped out of shape. It's less than I want to fold it more. I don't want the wings. The wings. Lurkers are amazing. I don't care what other streamers say. Yeah, I'm trying out. I'm okay with the dough. The dough came together pretty nicely tonight, but not 100% in love with the flour so far. Let's get this off the counter and into a pan. All right, so we got that off the counter. Got this here. We're gonna need room for eggs. We're gonna need room for, actually we have container for egg already. Fresh pasta is so much better than dried pasta. Maybe not in time or ease, but in final product, yes. Hey, minute. Trying to remember how I did this last time. I think I put one of my ring molds underneath the pasta and moved it along as I did them. Is this how thick I want this? Yeah, that'll be fine. I guess you'll work. Slippery little sucker. That thing is well wrapped in that egg white. Get out of there. There we go. Didn't I just clean you? Where'd you go? Down here? Oh, well, let's go with you if you are. I don't know where it went. Need more water than that. I don't care if there's a little dairy in the water. Just slowly working it until I think I get most of the air out of there. Use the same one to cut it, I guess. One out of 4. No, I don't want to boil water in my cast iron, though I do want to clean it out first. And get water going here next for our boiling of our pasta. Salt. Delicious. And do a little cleanup here first before we get into our second ravioli. And get the roller off of here. Off of the table. Come on, get off of there. And unlike Olive Garden, I'm going to salt my water. All right, we need a plate with some flour on it, because these are going to get sticky. Okay, on to number 2. Number 3. Ooh. You weren't supposed to fall yet. I don't have the pepper on you yet. How so? I do find egg yolks sort of interesting in how they sort of tend to... They have the sort of like skin that's almost more visual than... Like it's so thin and fragile, but it allows you to separate the white off from it. You never heard of a ravioli like this? Oh, this is an old school not necessarily fine dining, but fancier restaurant, sit-down restaurant, date restaurant. Restaurants bridging that gap between insanely expensive, this is a spectacle, and better than Applebee's. You can actually see the yolk right there, unguarded, without any pepper. Where are you, Shell? Saving the egg whites. I don't know what for, but I'm saving them. And I'm not going to re-roll all this pasta, but you could. I only need, or I only want 4 of these, so. There we have our 4 egg yolk, red pepper ravioli. I'm going to add a bit more milk into our butternut squash over here on the stove. Just to get this soup consistency, which might take quite a bit actually. Might have to switch to water here. You can use chicken stock if you got chicken stock around, or vegetable stock. If you want to add extra background to it. Yeah, you gotta go over here. Oh yeah, electrics are the worst. Electric stoves, no bueno. I'll accept induction. Flame's better. It's horrible for your lungs, horrible for your health. Probably killing the earth. Way better to cook on. It's right there with my opinion on Teflon. Like, horrible for the world. It's really the only alternative to cast iron. Problem with induction, it does have much finer control than gas. I will give induction that, but it has a lifetime. Like, you are not going to see 50-year-old, 70-year-old, 100-year-old stoves that are induction. They're designed to fail. It's a modern appliance. They're based upon electrical magnetic coils that die. They have a finite lifetime. Sort of like batteries in cars. They have a finite lifetime. There's a reason that they still use lead-acid batteries to start them. I can fix my transmission. They may design it so that it's cheaper for them to just replace it, but it's fixable. I'm not going to go out and mine lithium. Whether or not the batteries are lasting longer than they projected or not, it has a lifetime. Yeah, there's a fair chance of that, Muscat. Not necessarily so much here in California during daytime. Though where I am, it doesn't really matter. my electricity is actually pretty green compared to other locations. I hate PG&E, but PG&E does own Helms. I think it's Helms. Like, beautiful concept. Simple concept. If you've... I don't know if I've got the name right, so you may not know what I'm talking about or not. There is a location in Northern California here where we have a man-made lake and a high elevation lake. I forget which one is the man-made. One of them is man-made and the other one is naturally forming. And PG&E has a little elevator going between the two of them. And so during the daytime, when we have way too much solar generation and you actually don't really get money in California for generating power during the daytime, if you have solar. I don't have solar, but it takes all that excess energy, pumps water from the lower one to the top one, and then during the nighttime when they need energy back, they let it gravity fall back and generate electricity off of it falling back to the lower. It's pretty decent battery, I would think. Like, maybe not as good as salt battery, but oh. Any last minute changes I want to make to that deliciousness. That's almost cheesy. That is delicious. I think I'm going to add MSG to that. It needs a little more savory kick to it. Yeah, that really smoothed it out. Wow. Meanwhile, PG&E also keeps promising to put electrical wires underground and profits off of them generating money to put wires underground, and then never puts wires underground, and then starts forest fires. So that's the part of PG&E that I'm unhappy with. I also sort of feel like PG&E, if it wasn't a utility and it wasn't like government controlled, backed, shadow owned, I don't know what, they should have been bankrupt and stripped for parts and, created new electricity companies ages ago. They've been convicted of murder. The company has been convicted of felonies, and it still exists. They've blown up towns with gas. They seed clouds in the mountains. They do all sorts of weird stuff. Of course, they seed clouds in the mountains to steal water from other states. Because it's going from the west to east. We're almost there. It makes sense. It's a lot more expensive to do, though. And apparently it's a great profit-making method, because they keep doing it. I got evacuated a couple of years ago from a fire. It wasn't really, it was just barely close enough to like evacuate me and wasn't really have a chance of getting here, and I sort of felt that, but I evacuated anyways. They would have forced me out probably anyways, but where was I going with that? Oh, that fire, they cut my power before I got evacuated because they were worried they were going to start a fire, and then started a fire anyways. Which is another, mark for me against having an electric vehicle. Because if my car isn't charged and PG&E decides they want to cut off my power in case they start a fire, and then start a fire, it's not going to be fun getting out. Just putting that out there. Yeah, there's probably some price point where the ice breakage on lines versus burying them, they're probably, there's business decision. I don't know if we're going to get any hotter on this side. I think we need to flip pan sides here. Again, I think I complain I don't like PG&E, but I think overall I'm not that bad of a situation. I'm certainly not in like a state like Wyoming where they used to have an abundance of power, and so it was extremely cheap for everyone to have power there. But now they're building out data centers to consume more electricity than the entire state. So I have a feeling their electrical bills are going to change, and not for the better. And it's probably going to ruin all their water locally. But hey, AI. All right, we're going in with our ravioli now. Actually, let's give that another moment. I'm going to give the eggs a little while to try and cook through. Are you stuck down there? Nope, okay. I guess I lied to myself. All right, leaving it. Not gonna keep fussing. I thought I had a little sour cream to throw on top of this for a final little ploosh, but settling for some green onion instead. Let's get those other two pieces of pasta out of the water. And then we get the break open. See, do we have a runny yolk? Do we have a runny yolk, chat? That we do. Yum. Little red pepper in there for a little spike of color once we get into that. I think that's going to be great. The soup is amazing. The pasta looks nicely cooked. And that egg yolk is just going to add a wonderful richness to the soup, what doesn't stay with the pasta. I think that's going to be good dinner. A little bit of a longer night for being a simpler night and being a Monday. Appreciate y'all tuning in with me tonight. As was decided earlier, and all week by all of you in Discord, Wednesday's dinner is going to be Vegemite. Well, it was Vegemite or Marmite. I'm going to use Vegemite. So Wednesday, Vegemite, dinner and dessert. What would you make with dessert using Vegemite? Let me know in the Discord. Wish you all the best to start to your week. See you on Wednesday. If not, we got loveliness starting back on Friday and Sunday as well. I wish you all the best week. Let's see who's out there tonight on Twitch Land. I'm going to send you lovely people to go hang out with another streamer tonight. I am going to raid out tonight. I am going to give a raid to Titanium Chef. It's been a minute, but regular hangout here. He puts out a nice cooking show. I hope you enjoy hanging out with him. I wish you a lovely start to your week. Good night, everyone.